Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Schlage. This is their part number 0966-664. So 09-664 in a 626 finish. This is a armor front is what this is called. Armor fronts are pieces of trim that are applied to a mortise lock. I'm sure the term armor front is used in other areas, other types of hardware as well, because the underlying principle of what the armor front is certainly applies to other types of hardware. I'm thinking of a deadbolt that would, the faceplate of a deadbolt over a latch that would cover access to important screws that would hold things in, so to speak. An armor front, in this case, applies over the edge of the mortise lock cassette or body, and specifically will cover the holes that allow you to mount and secure the lock body to the door, and those screws that will hold in mortise thumb turns, or mortise cylinders, forgive me, mortise cylinders of both a keyed style and a thumb turn style. If you were to look at a catalog, say one that was 100+ years old for mortise locks, the edge of the mortise lock body very likely was just a solid, thick piece of metal that the case was actually attached to. The downside of that was that those access holes were clearly in a position whereby someone could tamper them and move them in such a way that they could bypass the lock. Well, when you have an armored front, you then cover those access to those screws, giving you a not only an ability to cover those screws to keep someone from loosening them and then threading the cylinders out, but also will permit you to have a more finished appearance on the lock. Those old style mortise cases, they were generally just black in color is what they were in the edge. And there's probably predating Schlage, you'd certainly see a Yale catalog, probably Corbin, where 100 years ago, 1920, 1900, you'd have mortise lock bodies that were that did not feature armor fronts, and then you had catalogs later on that featured both styles, the solid feature to a mortise lock, and then the applied plate. So that is what this is for. So this applied plate, this is going to be 8 inch tall by 1 1/4 inch wide, which is a standard prep for what we would call an 86 edge in a door. 8 by 1 1/4 inch. The thickness of the plate, 0.093, so 3/32 of an inch, basically. It is pierced for the screws that will hold the armor front onto the lock case, and those are included, and they are 8/32 flat undercut head screws. And an undercut head screw is where you have a flat head, but then underneath it's undercut, because you need to be able to have the screw sit flat or flush in what would be otherwise a very thin piece of material. If that was just a standard flathead screw, it wouldn't sit flat inside the hole. Now, armor fronts have to be ordered based on the function of the lock. So I can tell what we're seeing here is something that has a deadbolt and has the latch bolt, but does not have the deadlocking latch pierced through the armor front. So this is for those functions that do not require that. Let's take a look at the catalog, or at least what I'll do is pull it up here, and I happen to have it pulled up. The 0964 is going to be appropriate for the the 9440, the 9444, the 9456, the 9457, the 9465, the 9466, the 9473, and the 9496. And if we were to simply search for one of those functions, so let's do so now. Let's switch to the screen view and take a look at one of those functions. Okay, so this is the item that we are looking at here, and they list the functions that this would be compatible with, latch bolt and a deadbolt. But if we were to pull up the Schlage catalog, which we can do here somewhere, here it is, and let's just search for L9440. It's the first one in the list. Control F, L9440. Privacy with deadbolt. Latch bolt retracted by lever knob either side. Deadbolt actuated by inside thumb turn. And you can see down here in the pictogram that they have latch bolt and deadbolt only. And the point is that they do not have and I'm scrolling for a function that would require the dead latch. Here it is. This 9486, that requires all three, the deadbolt, the latch, and the deadlocking tab here. Okay, so that would explain why you have only those two holes that are actually in that prep for that lock. Let's switch back to the camera view. And of course, this armor front would be available in several different, I should say, all of the different finishes that the lock would be available in. Your brasses, your bronze, your chromes, your nickels, satin, polished. Other vogue colors that are very popular right now, such as black, oil rub bronze. They have a version of their Venetian bronze. 643E is what it's called. That is an evolution of a finish that was popular in the 70s that only Elysian has, actually. This is the 626 finish. That's a peel-away protective film that's on there. Very important to note that it has the UL label, and it has the capital F and the lowercase f. And so that simply means that this is compliant with both positive pressure testing and neutral pressure testing. So it would meet either requirement. So this would be completely permissible for use on a fire-rated door. And of course the Schlage name up at the top. Okay. Now, that link below this video, or there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Schlage products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Schlage? This is their part number 09664, armor front in a 626 finish, or any other Schlage product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.